Welcome to Tiny Radio Thoughts, your little program on this channel where I talk about music news, channel updates, and many other topics related to music. As a reminder, if you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Welcome to this new project on the channel. I am so excited to finally be able to get this first episode out. It's been a little project that I've had in mind for quite a long time, and being able to finally work on it and make it happen is incredibly exciting for me. If you wonder what this is all about, basically think of it like a radio program where I talk about anything that is related to music news, but also about the channel too. I've been dying to find a way to be able to express my thoughts outside of the review format, and I believe this is the way to go, and you guys will be the better testers for this new project. I hope it will gather enough interest to make it worth working on it, but I know you guys will probably like it quite a lot. As for the frequency of these type of videos, right now I'm thinking once a month for now. And obviously, if at some point it gets a lot more interest, maybe I will switch that, but for now, 1 month seems like the right way to go. So now that the introductions are done, let's start talking about the channel first. So a few months ago, the channel got to 200 subscribers, and I know I made a video about it, but it's still mind-blowing that it happened. And just from the beginning of this year, there's already been about 40 new subscribers. And again, I just wanted to thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, but also for the support that you guys have been providing. It really means the world to me, and I'm so glad that there's such a healthy community, and I hope it's gonna keep on growing and keep on this way when we can have very interesting talks about music in general. So now let's talk about some music news. So first of all, Utada Hikaru is coming back this year with a new album. Now, we've known that for a while, but finally I get to talk about it, and of course there's been a lot of news around her recently, because not only are we getting a new album and a new tour, but we're also getting a new Kingdom Hearts video game, which means we're getting a new song. And the song is called Shikai in Japanese, which means vow. But there's also the English version, which is going to be called Don't Think Twice. Now, both previews are out, and I will link in the description. But I gotta say, I'm really excited about this, and however, I gotta be honest, I never played any Kingdom Hearts video games. I don't know what they are about, but I know that previous songs by Hiki were used for these games, and that's why they are so popular. And yeah, I listened to the previews, and obviously I'm very excited about these songs, both version, whether it's in English or in Japanese. And it sounds really good. It sounds like overall a really nice song that keeps on being in the same theme as the songs that have been released prior, like Anata or Forevermore and Osora de Dakishimete. So that really makes me incredibly excited for the new album. I think this new album is going to be quite incredible. I mean, Phantom was excellent, right? But it was quite different, and I think in her own discography, it's going to be one that stands out a bit more when it comes to the theme and how she worked on it. But the new album, I think, is going to come back closer to maybe, it's not really the term I want to use, but maybe something more typical from what we had in her discography before. And yeah, I hope we're gonna get some news about it, because obviously I want to know everything. I want to know the track list, I want to see the visuals and all that, because, you know, it's a new Hiki album. How can you not be super pumped for a new Hiki album? Yeah, that's pretty much what I like about all these little announcements. They're so contained that it's little pieces of information, and obviously I think her father confirmed that she's not done working on the album yet, so that's why we're not getting any news yet. But I think she must be close, because she has been working on it for a while now, so hopefully we will get some infos pretty soon. Another news that came out this week actually is that Shiina Ringo is celebrating 20 years of her career, and it's quite funny because I always heard about her but I never really listened to her. To be quite honest, the only song where I listened to her is the featuring with Utada Hikaru on Iki's album Phantom that came out about 2 years ago now. And now it's been announced that to celebrate Shiina's career, we are getting a tribute album called Adam to Eve no Ringo. Now, this tribute album for me is quite interesting because even though she's not going to be the one singing on the songs, I think it's going to be a great entry into discovering our musical universe, because obviously 20 years of music, there's a lot to get through, and it's quite intimidating for me I don't know where to start actually, which album should be the right way to go. So I think I'm going to start with this tribute album, and maybe if there's a best of that's going to be released, it will be my way to get into her music a little bit more. And obviously this tribute album, there's a lot of stuff to say about this one, because it's been announced that Hiki herself is going to cover the song Marunochi Sadistic, and it's going to be a featuring with Kobukuro Nariaki. Now, if you remember, he's the one who was featured on Tomodachi, on Iki's last album, and it's going to be very interesting to hear both of them work together again. And I've listened, because actually they covered the song on his radio program last year, and it's really nice, but Hiki confirmed on Twitter that it would be a different take for the tribute album, so I'm really looking forward to actually hear a studio version of it. So I don't want to spoil myself too much on that. I listened to like 30 seconds and I was like, I'm gonna wait for when the tribute album is released in May to really have an opinion on it all. But obviously Iki is one of the big names for this tribute album, but there are also other artists. There are many that I don't know, or that I've heard of but never really listened to. But when it comes to the artists that I know, there's also Ai, and there's Kaila Kimura, so even more reasons to get into this one. Speaking of Nariaki, he is actually releasing his debut album next April, and when it was announced, there was a bit of a hype because the album is actually produced by Utada Hikaru herself, and she's featured on one song that came out with the announcement called Lonely One. Now, obviously, knowing that she has produced and is featured on the album, I think got a lot more interest for this debut album from him. And obviously that's the way I found out about it. I was like, oh cool, Hiki is going to be featured, so obviously I will review the album and tell you guys how I feel about it. But it's interesting because I feel like his music style might not be my thing too much, but I'm looking forward to discover his universe basically, since it's a debut album, so I feel like it's either gonna leave quite an impression or be pretty standard, and I hope it's not standard. I hope it does have some identity to it, but it seems like it's gonna be that way, so obviously I'm very excited about that. And of course, Lonely One, the song that came out, is the one featuring Hiki herself on it. It's a really good song. It's a very interesting one when it comes to the structure and the instruments used. I'm really looking forward to hear how it fits within the album itself, but so far I'd say it's a pretty good start. Now there's another piece of news. Well, it's not very recent, but I wanted to talk about it, and obviously it is about Namie Amuro. So 2 weeks ago she started a final tour called Finally the Final Tour, and obviously now we have a set list. So I wanted to talk about that, and just FYI, it will be very heavy when it comes to spoilers, so I will put in the description the time where you can skip and avoid being spoiled if you don't want to. But now I'm going to talk about it. So there are 30 songs that she sung on every date so far, and it's quite a heavy set list, honestly. I mean, you would expect that considering it is her last tour ever. And I gotta say, I'm pretty satisfied with the set list, considering how tricky it is, because you have to please the fans with the hits and the nostalgia, but also provide a healthy balance between old and new. And I think she did alright, and I like the fact that this set list is different from the 20th anniversary Dome tour that she did 6 years ago. So I'm glad it's different. I wish some songs were not here, like Break It. I feel like we had Break It for so long and so many different versions. I hope this version is the finale version though, and not the original. But she usually uses the original, so we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. You know, you got the big hits like Love Story, Sweet 19 Blues. Hide and Seek is a surprise because she's been not doing it that much for the last few years outside of last year's tour, Lifestyle 88, when she did put it back on. So that's interesting that she's putting it back, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm also really happy to see Do Me More, because I love this song. And she doesn't, it's been a while, I think she has performed the song live, so really looking forward to it. I mean, if I'm not wrong, it's been like 10 years, so, because she did for the Best Fiction tour, but I don't recall her doing it in the following tours, and I've been watching them ever since, so yeah. Doesn't ring a bell. I might be wrong. I have a very bad memory. But yeah, of course you got other songs like You're My Sunshine, Never End, Don't Wanna Cry, Can You Celebrate, you know, Bodyfield, Exit. But what I'm happy about, you get all the new songs from the best of. So you got Fighter, Into, Do It For Love, Hope, How Do You Feel Now, Finally. It's funny because they almost follow all of them, except when you got Showtime and Just You and I almost in the middle, and Mint at the beginning. But no, it's I'm glad she is, because it's funny, because when I first listened to the best of, I was not into How Do You Feel Now, and now it became my favorite song of this best of when it comes to the newer songs. So, you know, that's to tell you about how taste changes very rapidly. But I'm really looking forward to see the DVD version of this tour. I think it's going to be so emotional. I mean, she usually doesn't do talks, but at the end of every concert now she's talking for like 2 minutes, because, you know, it's the end. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for the end. I'm still in denial that she's retiring this year, but, you know, I'm pretty sure she's going to be killing it. And also there are pictures of the outfits she's going to be wearing. They all look great, you know, it's the usual, I would say, but she still looks fantastic. And I gotta say, from the pictures, she looks really happy, and you can tell she's just giving 100% into the performances. And I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way with Namie anyway. But yeah, really looking forward to see it at some point. And now I also want to talk about new releases coming out this year, because there's been a lot of announcement. You know, January was very slow. February was pretty good. But I think April and March are going to be, and May are going to be the month where it's gonna bring it. And so there's been some announcement. I'm gonna start talking about Janelle Monáe, because I love her, and if you don't know who she is, please check her out, because her music is incredible. Her second album, The Electric Lady, it's so good. So good. And in April, she's releasing a new album called Dirty Computer. The visuals are, first of all, incredible, whether it's the music videos or the album cover. And she released 2 new songs, so we got Django Jane and Make Me Feel. Both are very different, but they're incredible, and I really love the fact that it's, she really feels like a poet to me, and she's very engaged, but she's very smart as well. It's very intelligent, so just these 2 songs are getting me overly excited about the album. Then we got Churches, and they're releasing their 3rd album called Love Is Dead. And it was announced like a few days ago, and I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna pre-order this album right away. If you don't know Churches, they have 2 albums so far. and this will be the third one, but they're a great band from Scotland. They're really great, and I'm obviously really looking forward to this new one. I actually pre-ordered the signed postcard, wow, couldn't get that right, with the album, because this is my ultimate weakness when it comes to physical editions of albums, so I had to pre-order it. Also, it's kind of cheap considering you get it signed, but yeah. Then we got, it hasn't been announced just yet, but if you don't know Robin, she's a singer that I love quite a lot, and her last album, Body Talk, came out in 2010, and it's been so long, and I'm so desperate for new music. And on Twitter, she actually confirmed that there's a new album coming out this year, but that's it, we don't know more. But just seeing that almost gave me a heart attack, because I've been waiting for so long for a new album from Robin, and her music is incredible. Body Talk is great, but also the album that came out in 2006-07, it's called Robin, but I got the French edition of it, so I think it was a bit different in her own country, but this is so exciting. This is incredibly exciting. And finally, KGIII announced that the second album that she's releasing this year is called DNA. So nothing else about it yet, but I mean, the new album just came out like a few days ago, and there's my review about it if you want to check it out, by the way. And we'll see how this one goes. We will see. I have hopes, as always, but I hope it's a bit better than this one. And that is it for this first episode of Tiny Radio Thoughts. Thank you for listening for this first episode. I was really nervous to actually work on all of this and get everything right. And obviously this is the first one, so there's a lot to improve. And of course, if you want to tell me how you feel about this type of stuff, don't hesitate to tell me in the comment section down below. And as for me, I'll see you soon with more reviews on the channel.